Hi, this is the continuation of classes part 2. Let's look at a few more options about what classes might be able to do. Right? So let's go back up to our classes and we're going to make another one. Right? And so I'm going to click on the classes icon. I'll say new. Right? I'm going to make sure that my edit properties after creation. I'll say OK. Right? And so now I'm going to, let's call this pink fill, right? And so I'm going to make use at creation. My fill color is, or fill style is solid. I'm going to say my color, this time I want my fill color to be pink. Yes, I'm going to go and I'm going to say I want my line type, right, to be that dashed line that we used before. I want the thickness to be about a 0.5, and this looks pretty good, right? So now I'm using a pink fill color. I've given it a dashed line type, which is going to be around the edge, and it's going to be a, kind of a medium bold line size, and I'll say OK. Now I'm going to, let's go ahead and make one more. Let's go ahead and say new, and this one I'm going to call green fill. And I'll say OK. And use at creation. I'm going to select this, how about this nice bright green? How about that nice bright green? Fine. OK, and I'll just leave this line solid. Thickness, maybe we'll just make it a little thicker than what we have now, a 0.18. That's still pretty fine. And then let's say OK. All right, so let's select our pink fill while we're here. Just put a little check mark next to it. And I say OK. And now let's draw some shapes. I'm just going to go in and grab my oval, and I'm going to draw that oval. And look, it carried this pink fill color with it. It's also carried the line type with it. If we look at this outline of this shape, you can see that the outline is in that dotted or dashed broken line, right? Now, all of that information is available here, and you can see that what I'm doing is I'm drawing by class style. I could override this. I could say make it a solid for this object, or I can go back and just leave it by class style. Whatever the style is of the class is what I want it to be. Let's draw another shape. Let's draw a little rectangle. Maybe we draw an arc, and it's got a fill, right? So all of these different shapes now are carrying this fill color. All right, now let's go ahead and change to our green fill. You'll notice everything is organized alphabetically. And now let's draw a rectangle here. And here's our green fill color, and our outside is now this solid medium thin line. What about a hexagon? Let's see, that was the 15-sided one that I'd left over from last time I drew. Right? We'll draw a little oval up here for this one. And so the classes are carrying this. Now we start to look at our drawing and we go, oh my God, the pink is just making me crazy. I don't like that pink. It's too intense, right? It burns up way too much magenta ink. However you want to think about it. If I go back into my classes, and I go and I highlight the pink fill and I say edit, and now for the color, instead of that bright electric pink, maybe I use this nice pastel pink, right? That I pick a nice light color and I say, okay, and okay. Now all of my objects that were that bright magenta pink are now this light pastel pink. You can see how it makes the black lines show up more. The same thing would apply to the green. Let's go in and change the style, right, for our green fill. Select the class, edit the class, select the color, and now I just want the lightest little hint of green. maybe just a real light pastel color. Right? Just like that. That's this little minty green, and I'll say okay, and we'll say okay. And now you can see how it's a different color, but our lines show up more. If we wanted our lines to show up even more, I can go back into my classes. I can highlight that green fill, edit, and instead of a 0.18, maybe I need to make that a 0.5 also. And I say okay, okay, and every object that I've drawn now carries those attributes with it. It is a wonderful way to organize information. There's another aspect of that organization that we'll take a look at real quick, and that's the little eyeballs. Open up the class pull-down menu, right, or the class dialog box. And if you'll look, you'll see that over in this visibility section, there are 3 columns. One column has eyeballs. And if I were to select the middle column, how about we select our medium lines? Remember those? We drew those in the last video. If I do that, it will turn those objects off. Doesn't remove them, doesn't delete them. It just removes them from visibility. Let's go down to my thick line objects and select the 3rd column. And if I select the 3rd column there, right, you'll see, oh, I didn't want to do that. Right? You'll see that it's almost vanished. What it does is it grays out the object. It moves them to where you can just barely see them and interact with them. The middle column turns them off. The far right column turns them to a gray, and the left column means that they are visible. Let's see what this looks like on screen. Okay. These objects that we had drawn over here with our thick lines, they're gone. They're not gone, but we can't see them anymore. The objects that we drew, right, with our thick line or our medium lines, I forget which one I did, but they're here, but I can't interact with them, right? I can't change them. I can't select them. They're there. I can see them and I can reference them, right? But they're just in gray, right? They're turned off. Now, any layer, or I'm sorry, any class that is selected, regardless of whether it's turned off or it's gray, will be visible. It assumes, rightly so, that if you have something selected, that means you must want to work on it. So if I go and just select the medium lines, they will appear. And now there they are, and you can see that I can interact with them. The same is true for the ones that were just turned to that gray scale. If I come down and select the thick lines, these objects are now selected and I can interact with them and move them around. I can also move around other objects that are still turned on, but it overrides whether something is on grayed out or whether some class is either grayed out or whether a class is turned off. So we can use this as a hierarchy and a way that we can actually control what we have turned on and turn things on and off to help us work more effectively on our drawing. Remember, I can select from here about which one I want to have turned on and what I want to draw. I can also do that from the dialog box by putting the check mark where I want it, but there will always be a class selected. Okay, so this pretty well covers classes, and we'll move on to another topic in the next video.